Good morning. Welcome in. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hopefully, you all are doing well. It is Wednesday, so that means Steve will be joining the stream later on. I went 2-1 in the baseball streets yesterday. I had those two unders that we talked about on stream yesterday. Those went 1-1. So the Phillies game did go under. The Dodgers game, I was wrong. That game went way over, 17 total runs. So that was unfortunate. And then I also had the Yankees on the money line, and they ended up winning a game finally. So 2-1 yesterday. We've got some like day games going on today as well. A lot of day baseball today. I think there's like 6 or 7 games starting at around noon today. And then we've got obviously games tonight as well. So we could talk a little baseball. We've also got PGA tomorrow. So I told you guys I'd finalize my card. And we can talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to update. So I told you guys on Monday I was updating my fantasy rankings, which typically I would. But since I knew we were going to be talking about this today, I fixed the data space so it fully kind of displays our 1 through 180 players. But I want to kind of talk with you guys, and we'll kind of manually talk about our adjustments here, and then after the stream, I'll pop it in here and it'll be live in the data space. But we need to move Rashid Rice down from 18 with the suspension news, so he's going to be moving down. I'm going to be moving Omari and Hampton up a good bit with this kind of Najee Harris unknown stuff. So yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about it. Hampton is getting moved up. Rice is getting moved down. I could see some other guys getting moved up or down. I'll probably move down Quinshon Judkins a little bit. I had him around 93. He can get bumped down a little bit, certainly. Probably could move up these ancillary Bucks guys. Like Abuka is probably fine in this range. I need to move Jalen McMillan up though. I had him pretty low. He needs to get moved up. Got him down at 167. He can certainly get moved up a good bit. So there's definitely some guys that we need to move around. I think the top like 7 is pretty set for me though. Chase, I'm fine with at 1. Gibbs, I'm fine with at 2. Bijan, I'm fine with at 3. CD at 4. Jefferson 5. Barkley 6. Genty 7. Nico Collins 8. I'm probably the high man of anybody on Nico Collins, but that's perfectly fine with me. I don't have any problems with that. I'm pretty high on him this year. Chase Brown, I have at 11. I'm still probably the high man on him as well. I guess I could probably move him. I don't know. I could probably move him down behind Achan and behind Puka for sure. I need to move Puka up a little bit. Puka needs to be like here, and then Achan, and then Chase Brown. I'll probably move Chase Brown to like 13 if I had to imagine. If you guys have any thoughts on anything, go ahead and ask, or specific players. Rice, I'm probably going to take down to this like 40-ish range, probably below Devonta Smith. I need to move Chris Godwin down a little bit now that we've got some more clarity on him. He needs to get moved down a good bit. Probably what I had him at 49. He could probably come down to this probably after Jacoby range for me. I need to think on this one though, but he could get moved down significantly. Hampton is gonna get a big rise. He's probably gonna settle honestly in this range here. I could see having Hampton at 30 or right inside 30. Why do you think so many players are retiring? I don't know about Rice. I've kind of gone back and forth on that. I kind of want him to be good. So I kind of hope he is. But I don't know. As far as guys retiring, I don't know. I mean, I guess just they don't. I don't know. I haven't really put much thought into it. I might have Hampton. I'm gonna have to move Hampton above Brees Hall and above probably right behind Chuba. I honestly probably should move Chuba down a little bit though. Chuba should probably be. I don't know. I gotta work through this, but I don't know. Hampton. Have you guys been following this like Najee Harris stuff? I don't know. Like it actually sounds like concerning. And I know like the initial report on it was that it was bad, and then kind of there was another report kind of when the first official reports from like Schefter or these guys came out, they were like, oh, it's a superficial injury. He's not going to miss much time. And then the Chargers came to camp early because they're playing in the Hall of Fame game. So they had been in camp for since last week instead of coming like this week. And nobody really made any comments on it at first at all until I guess like yesterday was yeah, they keep going back and forth. Yeah, I feel like yesterday was the first time they like officially commented on it. And I don't know, it didn't sound like too good to me. And I don't want to read too much into it, but uh they did sign Naheem Hines. Like not that that would raise red flags for me because Naheem Hines is like coming back from an injury. And he also, assuming he's healthy, is a very good like special teams contributor. So I don't want to read too much into the fact that they signed another running back because I don't really think it's like an apples to apples comparison. But they did sign a running back, and we haven't seen Najee Harris. It doesn't like sound very good. So I think Hampton already is going to be a great like rookie running back pick. And he's going to probably, handle the workload. But if we got a situation where like if Najee Harris is in again, it's July 23rd. So the likelihood of him missing games for this is, unlikely. So we're so far away, but I don't know. I think I probably had Hampton too low anyways. So baked in with like this Najee concern, I need to move him up because if I rank my guys based off of how I draft for you guys, so, if I came on the clock and it's Brees Hall and Omari and Hampton, I would probably take Omari and Hampton right now, honestly. Like I would take Hampton if it were my team and I was on the clock right now. I would take Hampton over Kyron Williams and Brees Hall. And I would probably take him. I would debate him and like James Cook and Chuba Hubbard. That's the guys that I would personally debate him with. So I probably need to have him right in this I need to have him at 30, essentially. And I may flip Devontae. I might take Devontae Adams and just put him right behind JMO, and then have Cook, Hubbard, and Hampton right in this range right there. And then I would have I'll flip these quarterbacks and Mike Evans, and then I'll have kind of Breece Hall and Kyron after these quarterbacks. Best case, JK gets cut by Denver. Yeah, they have a lot going on in the running back room over there for sure. Between Harvey, J.K. Dobbins, Audric Estime, I would assume those are the three that come into the season, but who knows? We'll see what happens. I like Harvey a lot, honestly. Like just as a player, he was really fun to watch at UCF, and I do think he fits really well with what Sean Payton wants to do. Like he can be a Alvin Kamara type player. It's just it is crowded there, more crowded than other spots for some of these rookies. Like Travion Henderson is in a better situation than RJ Harvey. Not when I say situation, I don't mean like the team. I think the Broncos are significantly better than the Patriots, but for playing time purposes, it's basically Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson. And I don't really know like how hot this new Patriots coaching staff is on Ramondre Stevenson. I just don't know. The Broncos have just brought in J.K. Dobbins, so we know that they want him. It's not a new coaching staff that's kind of stuck with the leftovers. So, I mean, I have to have Trevion above him. I don't know. I'll go back through. Oh, Pearsall. I may have to move Pearsall down a little bit. I don't know where I ended up having him. Oh, I had him at 70. That's probably a fine range. I'll probably bump Jennings above him though, with just his hamstring lingering. So I'll probably flip those two. But this range is probably fine. I may move Tet McMillan up a little bit. I'm kind of warming up to him. I'll probably take McMillan. I got to get in the habit of not saying that because I know he like made a big thing about don't call him that. So Tetaroa McMillan. Probably bump him up here. Maybe low 60s. I'm kind of selling myself on the Carolina Panthers. So I was talking to Steve about it when he was doing his futures draft. We can talk when he gets on here in a little bit, but I'm kind of selling myself on the Panthers. Every year there's a few teams that make the playoffs that are not really supposed to. And I think that there's a good chance the Panthers could be one of those teams. First and foremost, it's a lot easier to make the playoffs in the NFC than it is the AFC. So that works into their favor. They also play in a pretty good division that they can compete in, right? I mean, the Buccaneers are very good, but the Buccaneers have a really, really tough schedule, especially to start the season. If we look at just who the Bucs play, they're not going to have Chris Godwin really to start the year, I don't think. So they're going to be counting on these young guys to step up. But, I mean, this schedule is rough. They play at Atlanta, which is whatever. They can beat the Falcons. Then they play at Houston, which is a tough game. Then they play the Jets, which is, at home. But we'll see kind of what goes on there. The Eagles, tough. At Seattle, tough. San Fran, tough, and Detroit, tough. So some really, really hard games to start the year against, San Fran, Detroit, Philly, Houston on the road. It's not an easy start to the schedule for the Buccaneers. And then they play the Saints going into the bye week. So that could kind of set them up. But they kind of have a tough go of it to start. And then I don't know. The Falcons could be good or they could be bad. I don't know. I think a lot of it. I'm bullish on their team, but a lot of that is going to be thrown on Michael Penix Jr. and we kind of just don't know. And then the Saints are just completely terrible. So I kind of think the Panthers are in a spot where they could take a big step forward. All right. I think Steve's in here. We're going to bring him in. If you guys have any questions for us, drop those in the chat. Steve, how are we doing this week?
I'm doing great, Ben. How you doing?
Good. I told the chat that I just fixed this data space entirely, and so we were talking about where we're going to move people when I update this today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's good to see.
These teams are in training camp now, so we already have some news to go off of. We can make some adjustments to the rankings.
Yeah, which is easy to me. I'm it's also crazy because obviously in our expert leagues, we have to have the draft so early. And then all this information starts flooding in right after you draft.
Yeah, they
Good,
could
bad,
wait.
ugly.
They could wait another 2 weeks for FSGA draft week until training camp starts. I agree with that. Because I got burned in the best ball league. It was 50-50 that Rishi Rice got suspended this year versus next year. And of course, I take him and he gets suspended this year. I don't think it's going to be lengthy. It'll probably be 3 or 4 games, but still, in a 17-team league, to not have your second round pick for 3 or 4 games automatically, that's not an ideal start.
Yeah. Just ask me about baseball.
Yeah.
And my guys didn't get suspended. They were self-suspended.
Yeah. A couple injuries, couple suspensions, and it was all downhill. All right. So, I mean, if I don't really know if there's anything distinctly you want to talk about. I think we can look at the teams that you drafted last week and kind of dissect those,
Yep.
kind of fitting with the conversation.
I should get the other one. Yeah, one sec.
Yeah. And I don't think we ever reviewed it. I can show the stream after, or we can do this tomorrow too. It doesn't matter. But I don't think I ever showed off this Guillotine League team that I drafted either, which was extremely hard.
Yeah. I think we should touch quickly on baseball just because it's still going on. We can't forget about baseball. And I'm not sure if you've been watching, but my team's been making some moves.
I've been seeing this, yes.
We're rising on up. Although I forgot to put my catcher in this week because I didn't realize that, in most standard head-to-head, the All-Star week is a combined week.
Mm-hmm.
So I completely forgot to set my lineup this week for. So at the end of the day, it didn't really matter except for I don't have a catcher in. So it's not the end of the world. At least it's a catcher.
Yeah. Not going to burn you that bad.
But
Jim, I can do that. Just check, Jim, check my Twitter and the Rolling Insights Twitter later today, and I'll include that in the golf post. No problem. Honestly, those are fun to do anyways, Jim, for these tournaments when there's no big names playing. So I probably would have done one anyways. Yeah, what was your thoughts on the Open, Steve? I didn't get any thoughts from you on that. Yeah.
So it's always an interesting tournament because it's a different style of golf course. My thoughts are, Scotty Scheffler, is he as good as Tiger Woods? Pretty dominant victory. It's like he's, having a Sunday walk in the park with his buddies right now. And so that's the first thing that, are we watching something subtly great where Tiger had a roar to it. He had a confidence, he had a swagger, he had a step. Scotty comes out and says, golf's really not my thing. I'm just happen to be good at it. You have people who went to college with him who said, yeah, I played with him in college. He wasn't very good. So I don't know why he's so good now. So it is a very interesting period in golf that you have this, essentially Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, Sam Snead level of golfer. and it feels like he's just an average guy.
Yeah, he just never I don't know, like, how to explain it. It's like he never plays bad. Um, like, if you look at the other golfers around him, or in the rankings, um, which I don't even know technically who's up there. Let me just take a look real quick. So,
Well, Rory's number two. Rory plays
yeah,
bad.
right, that's what I'm saying. So, if we look at Rory, Xander, JT, Henley, Morikawa, Keegan Bradley, like, these are the next few guys on this list, and if they're at, like, their peak, they can go win a golf tournament even if Scotty Scheffler is playing in the golf tournament. Any of those guys, Xander, Rory, JT, Morikawa, and if those guys are playing at their absolute best golf, they can go win even when Scotty's playing. But their not best golf is like missing the cut. Like they really fall off. Scotty Scheffler does not do that. Like he may not even win the tournament, but he just does what he does every single time, and it will be near the top of the leaderboard. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, I agree. And I would also say that when he's at his best and they're at their best, Scotty Scheffler's still winning.
Well, yeah,
Like,
I agree with that. But it's a different style than
yeah,
most of those guys. Most of those guys are flashy, and they'll do like Rory or JT can go out there and shoot the course record when they're playing their best. I don't really know if Scotty would just ever do that. He just shoots low 60s every round and then just wins, like, by default. Like, he wouldn't go
yeah.
out and have, like, that one crazy low round.
He's very consistent. And if you like, I remember him when he first broke out on the tour, he had a temper. He was like spazzing and he didn't putt very well. But he has this unorthodox swing.
He's never putted very well until this year, I will be frank. Like, even when he
Yeah,
was great last year, he still wasn't
yeah.
that great
He
of a
wasn't a
putter.
great putter. His driver is the sheer fact that he's able to hit it as consistently and as long as he can with that weird mangled up tangled swing is wild. His irons are exceptional. That is his superpower. And as a result of that, he puts himself in a really good spot to score and he avoids a lot of trouble. And I think that's it. And if you look at a lot of the other guys, like Rory's a really good example. He was all over the golf course. He somehow hit two balls in one swing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't I watched that live and I was like, my dad and I were so confused. And
It
then they
was
showed the
very
replay, but I was like, that was weird. But
well, I was like, why is he not reacting more negatively to this? He just popped the
yeah.
ball up 1 foot in the air.
Yeah, I thought that was his ball initially as well. I was confused.
So I think we are watching something pretty special here because he's just so dominant off the tee and through his irons. And when his putting's good, you can't beat him. Like none of those guys can beat him.
S-
Uh,
Um
the
I
one
think
thing I will say is I do believe that Bryson DeChambeau is figuring out links golf, which I
yeah.
think could be set up. If you're looking at a future bet next year at the Open, he might be the guy you want to pick.
Yeah, if he didn't shoot 78 on Thursday, I mean, we might have actually had a fun Sunday there.
Yeah, and he has a bit of a history of blowing up at the Open, um, but I think he's starting to figure it out. Like watching a lot of his round on the last 2 days, he's starting to figure it out. You can't hit these high bombs. Like you got to hit low little burners and let the golf course feed it in. And like as I've told you in the past, Ben, like I lived in the Middle East in high school, and our golf course was link style. They have a European tour event there every year, the Qatar Masters. And when you have big scorching winds and golf courses that run, you need to be one with the golf course. Hit it low and let it run, and let the golf course take the ball where it needs to go. And I think he figured that out the last 2 days.
Yeah, he played fantastic on the weekend. So I have two questions. First would be there's the graphic going around. Essentially, Scotty just won his fourth major in it's around the same amount of time that Rory won his fourth major. It's like almost the same amount of starts essentially. And then we all know it took Rory a decade, over a decade to win his next. Do you think, what are the chances that Scotty Scheffler doesn't win another major until 2036?
I think very low.
Yeah.
Like his temperament, just the way that he approaches the game is very different than Rory. Like I remember when Rory won his fourth, and like his dad would placed a bet on the career grand slam and like yada yada yada, and he was just like this. He thought he was going to be the next Tiger Woods, and
Yeah.
when you put that type of pressure on yourself, and then you attract all of that attention. Like I saw an interview with Scotty Scheffler where he was talking about how he still eats at Chipotle every day and won't tell people which Chipotle he goes to because he goes there and no one recognizes him. Like Rory wasn't doing that. Rory's like, I'm
No.
gonna be at this Chipotle, gonna have a burrito, come and find me.
Yeah. I do think for Scotty specifically, the US Open will be the hardest for him to get, and that's the one he needs. So like I don't know what the timeline you think he could win the Grand Slam in. I mean, obviously he can go win at like LA Country Club. That's not a typical US Open track, I would say. Not that it's bad, but it's not like what they just played this year or even like a Pinehurst. And I mean, he was pretty vocal about he didn't like the setup at Pinehurst. So, but I think he could win at LACC. But I do think US Open in general, like a traditional US Open track would be the hardest for him to get. Like his game is so tailor made for like Augusta and the PGA with just the different venues and stuff. He can obviously, that's no issue.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like the problem with um the problem with the US Open in general is you need a little bit of luck. Was it Bryson this year where he probably could have repeat, except he had bad bounces. So you need a little bit of luck, and um, you need to power. You need to hit the green, and you need to putt well. And so if Scotty's doing that all in the same day, he's going to win.
Yeah, definitely.
But with those four things combined, it's tough for them all to line up on the same day,
Yeah,
on the
it's hard.
same
It's
week of days.
definitely. Before we switch from golf though,
Yeah.
can you I think Europe at plus 160 to win this Ryder Cup is just the best bet of all time. So I just need your thoughts on this.
Oh, 100%.
Like, why are they plus 160? I don't understand this.
Where
Just
are they
because
playing
it's
this year?
in,
Are they
yeah, I
playing?
guess it's at Bethpage. So
Yeah. Right. Of course. I don't know. Like the Euros are just built for Ryder Cup. Like you look at the
and they're
roster, and
just
you're like,
their team is so much better.
yeah. Well, the American team's not bad. It's not bad. Like they've got I think a lot of horsepower on the American team.
It's
But
not what it was, honestly, like, even supposed to be, though. Like, because you would have thought, like, if you would have said coming into the season that, like, Harris English and these guys were going to be on the Ryder Cup team, nobody would have thought that. People thought maybe Thigala would take a step forward. Um, I mean, Spieth, I would assume most people thought he would be on there. I don't know if he's going to make it. Even Morikawa, like, there's people that think Morikawa shouldn't be on the Ryder Cup team, but like the fact of the matter is he's going to be on the Ryder Cup team.
well, they need some experience because the point I was
Yeah,
going to make is that all these guys that are at the top of the rankings are playing really, really well, but they don't have a lot of experience. So that's the part that they need. And they're all really, really good golfers. Like that's the thing in the States is it's like Canadian hockey. Like there's just the next guy up. Like the cost of replacing a player in Canadian hockey is nominal. And it's the same on the US Ryder team. But they need the superstar who's going to go out and lead. Okay, they got that, Scotty and Bryson. And then they need experience so these guys don't wilt and crumble under the pressure. Is Cantlay is he in the top? I haven't looked in a while.
no, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming. I mean, he's gonna probably be on the team because he's done well in like past Ryder Cups, and we know Xander and him are best friends, and Xander probably wants to play with him, but he's played like trash. Like a lot of these
Yeah.
guys have not played well, like the big names. Like if
Uh,
anyone playing well on the United States is Scotty. Xander has started to like find his form, so he's fine, and then Bryson is fine. But everyone else that's playing well are like these like older kind of,
like
like
Keegan, is he actually going to put himself on the team?
yeah, I would say I think he has to. I think he has to. Like who do I trust JJ Spawn and Harris English and like Ben Griffin? I don't. Like those guys are playing good, but I don't know really know if I trust those guys. Like that's just not what the team would have looked like if we talked about this in January. Like we wouldn't have
100%
had those
agree.
guys on the team.
But I've become a little bit of a JJ Spawn fan. Like that guy's got a pure swing. That
No,
is
I like
a
him. It's just like
that is a driving range pro swing. That's Tin Cup. So I agree with you. The
but
plus
the Europe
160,
team just looks so much better.
I would definitely like the only reason why it's plus 160 is because they're playing at home.
It's
Like the
just like
Americans are playing home.
yeah. But I don't I mean, I know the history of like the home teams and stuff, but I don't
I
know.
would take the bet. Like
Yeah, I'm going to be taking the
yeah,
bet.
Europe, like you said, there's a lot of good golfers. Europe is very good at these types of tournaments. And there's not a lot of experience in the American team. They're all really good golfers, but there's just not a lot of experience. And then, anyways, yeah, I'm not a huge JT fan. I've really soured on him over
No.
the years.
The Europe, if you just read the Europe team, it's an all-star team compared to this United States team. Rory, Bobby Mack, Fleetwood, Hatton, Lowry, Straka, Justin Rose, Oberg, Hovland. I
Yeah,
would take all of those guys over everybody not named like Scotty Scheffler. I mean, Scotty, Xander, Bryson are fine. I have no
yeah.
qualms with those guys, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be taking that bet, so I guess it's
So
emotional hedge.
should we put Phil back on the team?
People were I saw like when they were saying like if Keegan, picks himself, like who would honorary captain be or whatever. Like I saw a lot of people theorizing that they would pick Phil, but because Phil is a big Keegan guy, but I think they already handled that. I'm pretty sure Keegan said like he's just still gonna be captain and then he'll lean on like the vice captain. I think he made Gary Woodland like his like vice captain. So
Yeah. I think Phil would be too controversial, even though he'd be a good pick.
that would be hilarious. I would be all for it.
Yeah, I love Phil. Phil is like one of my favorite golfers all time. All right, should we shift gears?
Yeah, we can get back onto the other topics here.
Do you want to talk baseball real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Maybe I'll share my screen.
Yeah, I'll pop it up.
Do that.
The Blue Jays, man, they've been doing their thing.
They're real good. Take back everything that I said.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I've been like I think we've talked about it all year, but like I've been kind of bipolar about the Jays. Where at the start of the year, I was like, in the off season, and they didn't get any big names. I was like, oh, they're going to be terrible. And then I that emotion died. Then started looking at the roster, and I was like, actually, they could be pretty good. And then they started the season absolutely trash. And I was like, oh no, they're going to be terrible. Dark days. Atkins and Shapiro know nothing about talent. And then it started to click. And the crazy part is, like Addison Barger, do we talk about how he could be the next Joey Bats, Jose Batista?
He looks good.
Like they
He
found
looks
him
real good.
on money. I'm worried that he's going to have a PED issue because he looks like a little meatball out there, and all of a sudden he's smashing homers and he's like a big time major leaguer. But they look really good, and they're beating like hard teams. They're not
I
feasting on the
think the
Street Carolina.
conversation, like I would feel, I'm gonna pull up the playoffs real quick. Like I would feel pretty good about them, like holding on and like they're gonna be in the playoffs regardless, whether it's division or wild card. Like I think we've moved on from that conversation. It would take an epic collapse in August, for them to completely miss the playoffs. So I think the playoffs are set. There's gonna be playoff baseball in Toronto. Now, the conversation which we talked about a few weeks ago, still, like they're still playing good, but it's like what's the ceiling of like the moves that they're going to make? Are they gonna I would assume they make a move. It's just what is the magnitude? Like how big of a move did they make at this trade deadline?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's funny because before I thought they would pick up some pitching help, and then I was listening to the broadcast, and
Yeah.
then they were talking about how they probably won't do that.
I could see
'Cause-
bullpen or a bat.
yeah, but then the bats, like, who do you pick up? You got Varsho coming back. You got Santander, who will come back at some point, hopefully be okay. Um,
There's one guy that they should get that I have in my mind.
who do you think?
And he he's struggled in recent years, but he's on the worst team that you could be on. And I think if he gets on a new team, I think he can blossom into what I thought he was going to be, and that is Luis Roberts. I think
Okay,
they
I
should
was
get
thinking
him.
the exact same. When you went into that long
Yes,
preamble, I
yes.
was like,
I'm an OG fan, and I'm not defending him because he definitely has not lived up to expectations. But I mean, in the worst possible situation, the White Sox were so bad last year, and they're better this year, but not much.
you think that they would, so 10 homers, 58 hits.
2 of those homers have come in like the last like week too. I think he's auditioning to get out of there.
And he's buddies with Vladdy, right?
I don't know that distinctly, but I would not be shocked.
I think he's buddies a lot with Vladdy. Somewhere them hugging at one of the games. Yeah,
And we've
okay.
seen this the last 2 years, last year and this year. Guys that have left the White Sox have like went on
Well,
hot
I'm so
streaks.
pissed about Crochet. I didn't take him in my other league. We talked about it, took Kirby instead. That didn't work out, and he's
Yeah,
been
he's been really good.
lights out. I would be okay with this. Okay. Yeah, you could replace one of those outfielders. Like if you had let's say Santander comes back and plays well. You've got Springer and you've got him in the outfield. That's not bad. That's actually pretty scary, actually. And
Yeah.
then you had two more like terrifying bats. You lose. The one thing that I like about the Jays right now is that they are playing small ball and they're just getting guys on base. You would lose a little bit of that because what's their strikeout? Do I have that stat up here? Let's add strikeout. Strikes out a lot. But they might be able to fix
Yeah.
that in Toronto because
It would
I
be
think that's.
worth a flyer, I think.
Well, what do you think it would cost?
Well, it certainly wouldn't cost whatever it would have like 2 years ago. So, I don't think it would cost a ton, to be honest, because he's been so bad.
Like a Nathan Lukes, like someone like that
Yeah,
that
I don't know what
shows
like
promise.
I don't know what I haven't like researched this. I don't really know what the White Sox would distinctly be looking for. I'm assuming just younger players. Um, but I think that would be worth a flyer. And then bullpen, I'd call Cleveland, man. And they already have the Cleveland connection because look who runs their team. You know,
Yeah.
who Mark Spiro worked for the Indians forever. So I would call Cleveland and get a bullpen arm because Cleveland has a good bullpen and they are terrible. So they're gonna be selling. I would be pretty
Let me
confident.
open. I'll pull up the team ranking.
I mean, I know Class A has struggled. But I could see him getting moved, and any of their back end guys I could see getting moved. And
He'd be he'd
they
be
have
he'd be a
guys.
good setup guy in Toronto.
Yeah, yeah. There wouldn't be that pressure on him that there was, last year. He's not bad. I mean, he has a 2.80 ERA this year, but it's just not what we saw last year from him. But
Yeah. Wow, Cleveland's been sinking like a.
they're so bad, man.
They're getting worse.
Yeah, they're terrible. Look at their lineup. I mean, it's like so bad. So their projected lineup for tonight, we've got Steven Kwan, okay, Angel Martinez, Jose Ramirez is doing his thing, Kyle Manzardo, Carlos Santana, Nolan Jones. Like, it's just bad. Carlos Santana is going to get traded, or one of these
Isn't
guys.
he like 61 years old?
Yes. Yes. Anyone with any pulse, the Guardians will be trading them this year.
Yeah.
I hope they don't trade Steven Kwan, but I could see him getting traded. Steven Kwan is a very good MLB player and a very likable
Yeah.
fan favorite.
Versatile,
Yeah.
runs base as well.
Jose Ramirez needs more respect, though. I mean, this guy's
Oh,
been on good teams and he's been on some bad teams, and he just does it. He just does it every single year. It's crazy.
it is nuts because in my other league, like one of the top teams, they have Ramirez. And it was like one of those ones where all these guys waited on him because he's old. It's kind of like
Mhm.
my Marcus Semien. Like, oh, he can't do it another year, but he keeps doing it. Well, this year Marcus Semien has probably figured out maybe this is the last year. But Ramirez just keeps going, just keeps ticking along. How old is he? Let's
We're
see.
going on year 10 of him doing it every single year. Like, if you just look at his last 10 seasons,
92.
it's crazy.
Wow. 33 years old.
Yeah. So, I mean, starting in 2016, if you just look at his seasons, they're insane. And he's playing 150 games. One time he didn't play, or two times. One time he played 129, and one time he played 58 games. Every other time he's played 150 games.
That's crazy. And then the other thing I just realized is George Springer's older.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember George Springer. I made a big trade for him, man. Like, when I first was getting into fantasy baseball, he was like just a top prospect for the Astros, and I made like a big trade to go get him.
Santana is very old.
Yeah, he's old, man.
Okay.
He has to be like 35.
Any commentary on your team? What's going on?
Yeah, it's been struggling. Just my like, we've talked about this, but just my pitchers, they just don't. I mean, when I lose, I waited on starting pitching, and the top 3 guys that I picked all got hurt. There's nothing I can do about that. My bats are still very good, though. Like, my bats have carried me the entire year. Like, I have very, very good offensive stats. I hit on pretty much all of my batters, but I missed on the pitchers, unfortunately.
Yeah, your ERA is still good,
James
but
Wood, I
he's.
mean, this guy, what a season he's having.
I know. I'm in chats and trading because my team sucks, so I'm offloading a bunch of people in my other league, and the guy was like, "Well, maybe I could get rid of Wood." I'm like, "Are you teasing me? Like, is this
Yeah,
real?
yeah.
Like,
Especially in
you're
a league
heading."
like where you could keep him.
Yeah, and he's in number 2 spot, so he's trying to win, but he wants Suarez.
Interesting. I mean, he's going to get traded. I don't know where we think he's going, but he will not be on the Diamondbacks, if I had to
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah. I just wanted to comment that Howard really gave Dan Schneier and yourself the shout out during the draft.
Yeah,
And I feel
he liked our he liked our
he,
teams.
he did. And
uh,
I just want to give myself a little whoop, whoop.
yeah, you've survived the Willie Adames disaster.
I think I have him on the.
He's playing good right now, though. He had 2 home runs the other night. I mean, he's starting to heat up a little bit.
I have him on the bench right now.
He's still in timeout. That's okay.
Yeah, but the problem is that this is the one thing I don't love about this league. There's not enough flex positions.
Yeah, I would prefer there to be 3
Oh God,
outfielders and
when did that
then
happen?
maybe just recently.
That's
I
just
would prefer
nasty.
3 outfielders and extra utilities or something. But
Yeah,
I
because
guess I
I've
don't
got
know because we have like the middle infield and the corner infield. I don't know.
I'm really strong at shortstop.
Well, nobody ever wants to trade, so it's not
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
could be like, "Oh, I have 3 good shortstops. Let me trade." Like these people aren't trading.
One year I had a couple of deals, but yeah, you're right.
I've never even made a trade in one of these leagues. I don't think.
You just got to hammer people's inboxes.
I guess just spam them.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I'm disappointed that I didn't set my roster. I don't know when this happened. Is this yesterday?
Yeah, I was gonna say that had to be Monday or Tuesday because I hadn't
Last
seen
things.
it.
And then I picked up Danny Jansen. That was my mistake in the catcher.
Former Blue Jay.
Former J. And he's all right. Well, I could have had a hit. Shall we switch gears?
Yeah,
And
we can talk football or futures draft. I mean, kind of whatever you want to talk about. If you want to
why don't
put up
we
your
what
team, let's do
yeah,
it.
why don't we talk football first? Here, I'll pull up the data space too, because I don't have it open, so I'll open it while we look at my team in the background. Um, so I used the top 175 list quite extensively, and
We
just to
love
kind
to
of
hear it.
show everyone the process. I had two up, so I had kind of my essentially this model right here that we're looking at, and then I had your 175 list,
Sure.
and um, my big thing in drafting, especially in these deep leagues, is I like to use statistical information from the previous year, because I like the consistency of that, and then I like to use depth charts. So in this league, for example, like we get down to some of the guys. Let's just we'll pull up my team. Is that it? We get down to some of the lower draft position guys. I'm just trying to take as many guys that are going to get snaps and targets as possible.
Hmm.
But I will say that the 175 was really helpful because when I would get to, let's say I'd be 5 spots out, I'd line up the 5 spots um, that were kind of next in the queue for the traditional rankings, like that everyone else sees in the actual draft, based on ADP. And then I would use your ranking to kind of determine where you felt if I could get a steal or if I could wait on some guy a little bit later. So if there was a guy that was at the top of that list and um, he was ranked highly on your list, I'd probably take him. If there was a guy who was higher on your list but lower in the ADP, I'd wait. And so I was able to get a bunch of higher guys on your list and my list versus what the RT Sports, rankings included. So I was really happy. Like I thought I did great. The only area I'm a bit concerned about are wide receivers, just because I've got kind of some unproven, but it's also the area that I feel like you can pick up the surprise individuals who start playing well throughout the season, or you can pick up some guys that are, kind of matchup dependent or injury dependent. So I don't know. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm obviously I'm glad that you were able to use, my rankings. So if you're watching this, these are available for free. Rollinginsights.com. Sign up with make your free account there if you don't already have one, and you can access this data space. It's published in the community. So I'm glad that you were able to use it. And this will be great because like I said, these will be updated weekly leading up to the season, but we also are going to make this even easier for you to use. And I'm going to have, I was just kind of waiting for the first round of updates here with the training camp started because a lot of guys are going to be moving up and down, but we're going to have, I'm going to create views of tiers. So if you're looking at quarterbacks, right, I'll have tier one, tier two, tier three. You can just isolate those guys if you want. Same with running back, same with receivers. And then we'll have that kind of embedded into a blog post with some higher level, thoughts on stuff. So yeah, it's going to be really easy to use. And I'm glad that you were able to use it for your draft. Overall, I think that I think this is a good draft that you had. Like I was following along while you were drafting, and overall, yeah, you can
The
see it right
175.
there. Yeah, you just access that, and then the tiers will be in there pretty soon once I do this first round of updates here. And yeah, we'll have a blog post coming along with that as well. I'm also doing blog posts to review my drafts, every draft that I do, and I'm going to review Steve's draft and give my full thoughts on that. TikTok, man, they didn't like my they didn't like my 17 team draft, Steve. They were coming at me. I posted a video like I always do, and I woke up and it had 13,000 views, and these people were like going off
Love
about
and
my
hate
draft.
is the same emotion.
Yeah, dude, I love it because that's great. If you want to give me 13,000 views on a video, that's fine with me. I don't care if you don't like my draft. I'll take that all day.
Hey, Howard loved Dan Schneier's baseball team.
And yeah, and his team stinks. So yeah. Well, I don't think. First of all, from what my experience, TikTok is not a place for ball knowledge. It's a lot of younger. It's a younger crowd, and they just don't know what they're talking about, frankly. And secondly, I don't think any of those people have ever played in a 17 team league. Like nobody's team looks good after the draft.
Yeah.
Like it's not possible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard. And then it's really hard, like we talked about last week, like you got to draft well,
Yeah.
and it's really hard to pick up guys. There's a lot of competition on the waiver
Well,
wire.
especially best ball, I don't even get to pick up any guys.
Oh,
So
right, you're in a
I
best
have
ball league
to I
too.
have to factor this in. Like there's going to be teams that get zeros every week because there's not 34 kickers. There's not 34 defenses. So, you know,
It's hard.
yeah, definitely hard.
But 13,000 views is an accomplishment.
Yeah, that
Um,
was good. I was happy about that.
even if you're the villain. Uh, yeah, it's hard. Like, again, looking at my team, like the funny part is I got Brock Purdy quite late, in my opinion, and I'm very high on Brock Purdy, and you had him high on your list. And
Very high on
uh,
Brock Purdy.
I love Jordan Love. Like, I think that he could return to 2 years ago. Um, so I feel like I got some really good steals. Kyle Pitts, like, I think it's going to be a different world in Atlanta this year. Um, he could have a breakout year. And I got Mark Andrews, who for some reason people left quite late, in my opinion. Because remember when we talked about I was going to go running back, wide receiver, tight end, wide receiver, running back, and then kind of alternate down to quarterback and then fill the spots.
Yeah.
But when I got to the third pick, I felt like there was a lot of tight ends still available. And the running backs were starting to go. So I did deviate from the original plan there,
Yeah.
but I still ended with Mark Andrews, who is older, but
Oh, I'm
uh,
fine. Yeah, I was fine with that. I think just like I liked your start. And it's harder for me, like it's harder to analyze these leagues compared to like if you just do your league, right, and it's 12 teams with your buddies and then I analyze your draft after. That's a lot different than me analyzing like this draft just because it's more teams and the running backs go really high. So it's a lot harder. Like you're kind of forced into taking guys that you probably even wouldn't take there anyways, just because of how the draft goes and the amount of teams.
yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. So like I could have taken Kittle at 3, but I was like, oof. looking further down, like the only guy that we had talked about that probably would have been available was Pollard. But just going back to my mindset for years, like you just got to have good running backs because if somebody gets injured, it's just so hard to pick up another running back. Like even if it's the guy behind whoever got injured, and you stack it, it's just so tough. So, anyways, I feel pretty good about that audible mid draft. And the only area, like, what do you think of Travis Hunter? That was the one where I was like, oh man, I don't
No,
even know if I want to make.
I'm a big fan of his. I think on the field he's going to be very very good. I don't think like we should temper expectations. Like he's going to play a lot. Like he's going to play defense too. Like you have to bake in that. Like he could potentially get
That's
hurt, but no, I think as a receiver he's very good. But I had him. I think he's the best receiver in this class. Like I know he got drafted where he did because of the offense and the defense, but I don't think that should be any slight on his wide receiving ability. Like I think he is that good as a receiver, and he's never focused fully on one side. Like if we get him on an NFL team with NFL receivers coaches, and he actually puts time into that, like the ceiling is extremely high. And he's got capable quarterback. He's got a capable play caller. He has another very good receiver there that's going to take, pressure off him. He's not going to be the main focus point of the game plan every time because they do have Brian Thomas Jr. still. So, yeah, I think he could outperform where he gets drafted most certainly.
okay. I feel better about it now because that was the one pick where I was like, in the fifth round, did I reach? But I just was looking at the wide receivers, and there was just it felt like there was the high potential guys were slim picking. So this to me is a little bit of a gamble pick, but for the high potential, high ceiling that you just mentioned, I took him.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a certain mantra. Anyone that's watching the stream knows, and if they followed me for years, like at some point, it kind of just pays off to just draft players that are good football players in real life. Like at some point, we overrate so many things, and it's like just take people that are good football players. And Travis Hunter is just a good football player at the end of the day. Like
Yeah,
that could win out in the end, and he could have a good season.
yeah, okay. And then the second one that I wasn't sure about was Darnell Mooney in the eighth round. Like I feel like he's going to have a much better year. I feel like their offense is going to be better. What are your thoughts?
I don't have any problems with Darnell Mooney. Honestly, I feel like he kind of surprised some people last year. I mean, he was really hyped up when he was on Chicago, right? And then never really lived up to it. Changes teams, goes to Atlanta, and he had a good season. He didn't hit 1,000 yards, but 64 catches was second most in his career. 992 yards, second most in his career. Didn't score a lot of touchdowns, but 5 was still a career high for him. So he's kind of on a high point coming into this season. And they've got, their quarterback of the future, hopefully, in Michael Penix. And I don't see any reason why he can't have a good season.
Yeah, yeah, okay. That was the exact same thinking I had. Is that the offense will have stabilized under Penix, and even if it doesn't, then they've got Kirk Cousins, the old cowboy, to potentially come in and maybe recover some of his strength.
Yeah, that whole situation is crazy. I still can't believe that Kirk Cousins is still like the Falcons backup and they didn't I don't know. I don't understand how he's not starting for a team, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, like we talked about this with Aaron Rodgers. Like I think that some of those guys, there is a desire to, especially him. Like I could see him being like, no, I want to be part of the future, and so I'm going to mentor. And by mentoring, we got to let Michael Penix Jr. play games. But I'm going to be your like player coach.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts, I hope, has a good season. I don't know. I'm kind of just at the point I don't think it's ever going to happen, but he was so good at Florida, man. I wanted him to be good in the NFL so bad, and he has done literally nothing since his rookie season. He had a great rookie season, and I don't know if it's just health or what, but something has stunted him. So I'm really hoping that he finally has a good season. Twitter will not survive if Kyle Pitts has a big season. Like I don't know if there's a more polarizing player on like fantasy football Twitter than Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's funny 'cause when he was breaking the league, my dad's like, "Oh, you got to pick up this Kyle Pitts guy. Whoa, it's gonna be good."
He
But
was he was so good in college, man.
I think some of it is like you've brought up many times coaches, programs, quarterbacks, support. I think if there's a time for him to break out, it's this year.
Yeah.
Um,
I liked your Michael Wilson pick. I love Michael
I,
Wilson. I think he's very good.
it's funny because when I picked him, I was like, you know what? Actually, when I kind of got down to him in the list, I was like, holy, I would have picked him way higher. Like, I can't believe he's
Yeah.
still available.
Yeah, he goes really late. I guess just with like I mean, they have McBride, they have Marvin Harrison Jr., and they don't throw the ball a ton. Like they're not like one of the most pass heavy teams, but I mean, he's just good. Like he's a good receiver, and
Yeah,
they should be a pretty high scoring offense. So yeah, I think he's a good late round pick.
that was exactly my thought. And I know that we talked about, you can't rely on touchdowns. But when you got other targets, often the third man, the fourth man on the offense gets more touchdowns uh, because they cover as they get to the red zone. The number one targets more. So it could be one of those where he has a decent season and then scores a bunch of touchdowns.
Yeah. No, it's a good I thought this was a pretty good draft overall from you. I know you said I think you said like one of the projection systems did not didn't like your team
Oh,
very much, but I don't put much stock into that honestly.
well, like so both of them. I think one of them had the team in the middle of the pack, and then the other one had it at second last. But essentially, what they're doing is they're going off their projected points or their ADP, and then they're just so if you go through and you use their list and draft like based on their list, you're going to get ranked higher. But it's kind of BS because I can't remember which team it was. One of the teams was ranked at the bottom, like I think last, in one ranking, and then on the other one, so it's Fantasy Alarm and Fantasy Pros, and then the other one they were like the top team. So you're wrong because it's not going to be that far off in terms of where they're not going to end up in the middle or the bottom or the top. Well, maybe they could, but one of you is going to be really wrong because they're not even close. So I never pay too much attention to those, especially in football, because there's just so many different lists and opinions and communities drafting, and the ADP value influences where people start picking in later drafts. And so, yeah, it's meaningless to me, but I get a kick out of seeing where I sit.
Yeah. No, it's fun to look at it for sure.
So we look at the futures.
Yeah, let's do it. I wish I could have hopped in there because I love doing that league, but I'm just glad you were able to do it.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun. A lot of characters on that draft. A lot of big personalities. Probably some names that the listeners at home also listened to, because it seemed like it had more personalities than any of the other drafts. So here's we obviously went through this and talked about it in advance. So I used a lot of your guidance of stick to the higher value bets. Um, and uh, avoid kind of the personal statistic type stuff. I avoided conference and divisional. I don't think actually conference is there, but divisional winners because it just didn't seem like there was a ton of value in them. And I tried to, and this is kind of counter. I was chatting with Travis on Discord. Counter to his strategy. His strategy is he picked six, I think, Super Bowl potential winners, and if he hits on one of them, he's got a 50% chance of hitting on one of them. Then he gets obviously a relatively large payday. He doesn't have the favorites, but he has 6 of the top 10. And I went to the opposite. I was like, I don't want to pick 2 bets in the same category and have my bets competing with each other. So I thought it went pretty well. Like you fed me these. I went Super Bowl first. I went with the Chiefs.
Yeah,
Like,
getting Chiefs is great. I mean, they're gonna be late in the playoffs, and then you just take your chances. I mean, that's fine.
um, they were all loving the Clemson picks,
Nice.
especially
That's
John
good.
John Lobb, who I think must be a college guy.
Yeah, he does do college, yes.
So Clemson and Klubnik. Um, I went with Luther Burden Rookie of the Year. A lot of these got like a lot of the Rookie of the Years had already been taken. Like I couldn't believe how high. Where did Genty go? I was like shocked.
Oh yeah, first round.
Howard, Howard
Howard in the first round.
at plus 250.
That's
Like I think
great.
he's just trying to get some money on the board. But like yeah, I agree with him. I think it's the most likely. But like he's a rookie. There's no guarantees. And so I picked Luther Burden. We'll see. Probably chase that category a little bit, but
No, it's
I knew
50 to
that,
1. That's worthy of a shot.
and I knew that I wanted to have one in each category. And based on my criteria, like to get 12 bets down, you kind of run out of categories.
Yeah, definitely.
Pick the old Calgary Stampeders to win the Grey Cup. I think they've got a decent. It's funny that I watched the game that night, and then they smoked the Blue Bombers.
That's good.
It was great.
I'll get some Stampeders gear. I'll start watching the CFL.
Stampeders gear looks good. Red with the white horse,
I used to play daily fantasy CFL once upon a time, Steve. This was a thing.
crazy.
Yes.
Who would have known that?
Yeah.
And then Aiden Hutchinson as Defensive Player of the Year, and then I was debating Hutchinson as Comeback Player of the Year, but it was only plus 300. So I went Trevor Lawrence, Comeback Player of the Year, Aiden Hutchinson as the Defensive Player of the Year. I feel really good about this one. Like I think that this is going to happen.
Yeah. I don't have any problems with that. I gotta look this up though. They changed like the criteria
Oh,
of
did
that
they?
award. Yeah, because I had Sam Darnold comeback player of the year. I had taken like a 25 to 1 on him for it, or 50 to 1. I can't remember. Someone in the chat might remember, but we took that in like last June or last like July, like a year ago basically. Just because I like the Vikings and I think Kevin O'Connell is a great coach. So anybody that plays quarterback for him is going to be good. So I was like, there's a pretty good chance that Sam Darnold has a good season. I wasn't expecting him to be quite as good as he was, but like in my opinion, he is a worthy candidate of comeback player of the year. He was cast out of the NFL essentially, and then had a monster
Mhm.
season and took his team to the playoffs. But I'm pretty sure they changed the criteria of the award, and it's like you have to be. I don't know if it's you have to be coming back from injury. Again, someone in the chat might know, but I don't know. There's some like specific criteria for that award now. I don't know. It's something weird.
I didn't know that. Well, that could hamper my Trevor Lawrence pick.
Well, he did get hurt, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, but I don't think he was really out for that long, wasn't it? Like 5 games, 3 games. It's not like he was like season
See if
injury.
I can look
You
this
know,
up.
Saquon Barkley coming back.
I'm pretty sure, again, chat can correct me if I'm wrong because I don't want to misspeak, but I'm pretty sure this got changed because a lot of people got mad that like they were upset DeMar Hamlin didn't win and Joe Flacco won that one year
Mm,
because like
mm.
DeMar Hamlin was coming back from like significant injury, whereas like Joe Flacco he just sucked and then and then got another chance and took his team to the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think like regardless, Hamlin should have won. Like old man Flacco trotting out for a couple of games. So moving on though, coach of the year, I picked Ben Johnson from the Bears. Uh, so in this, and I'm sure this is an obvious one, but like I always try to pick a bad team that then I think could be good, and I think Caleb Williams could have uh, a good season, which will then increase the chance that Ben Johnson will. And then Ben Johnson, he came from Detroit, right? He was offense at Detroit.
Yeah, that's a good pick. If they typically for coach there, you want a team that's going to outperform expectations. So, Bears are on that list, Jags, Panthers. Those would be the teams that I would be looking at
I also
for
had the
someone to win that
Pats
award.
on my list, and then someone
Yeah,
picked
that would work.
Vrabel before me.
Okay, so I know this is like we moved on from this, but just to tell you, the Comeback Player of the Year award is to honor a player who has demonstrated resilience in the face of adversity by overcoming illness, physical injury, or other circumstances that led him to miss playing time the previous season. So I think like there was a lot of like uncertainty with that, but from the way that it was handled, like I'm pretty sure they declared like Darnold was like ineligible, like they weren't even like voting for him. So Aiden Hutchinson would fit into the
So I'm not going to win that category then.
well, he would because he had a serious injury, so he could come back from that. Trevor Lawrence, I don't know if he would fall under this. And then whoever took somebody I saw somebody took Stephon Diggs. I don't know if they would fall. I don't know if Stephon Diggs would fall into that
Well, I only
category.
played 10 games. That's
Yeah, he didn't finish the season. I don't think. I don't think he, if my memory serves me.
AC joint,
Let me see. Let me see.
questionable for week one.
Did he play at the end of the season? Is the question. I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either. I just thought he only missed like 3 to 5 games,
No,
but
yeah, he missed.
considerable time.
He did play on December 1st, but no, he didn't play. So yeah, you should be fine. Yeah, I think he would qualify for that.
Well, I learned something because I did not take that into consideration. I wasn't even
Yeah,
thinking about
to be honest with you, the only reason I even know this is because I had Sam Darnold bet, and then he was not eligible to get votes,
Yeah.
even though he clearly was the comeback player of the year, in my opinion. He was almost out of the league.
And then I went most outstanding player Trevor Harris in CFL. He only
Nice.
had so many options in the CFL, so I think he's going to
Yeah.
be in the top 2 or 3 options. Someone took Alexander Harris before me somewhere. Davis Harris, I was called. Get that the two combined, which was the one that I was actually trying to take. But it's funny as I was preparing for the draft, I was like, "Ooh, Trevor Harris's stats almost look as good. Plays for the Riders, significantly more popular team than the Alouettes."
Interesting.
I was like, "This could be plus 1100. That could be good." CD Lamb, I couldn't believe that he was available in round 10.
It's a good pick.
Um, and wide receivers have a history of winning player of the year, offensive player of the year.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
I thought Brock Purdy was a great pick. Like if he
Good
goes out
value on that. Yep.
game gangbuster year at plus 2,800.
Yeah.
And then defensive rookie of the year. I don't think that's gonna happen, but
No, that one could hurt you. That's the only pick I didn't like, and that's just I don't know like what I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know.
there was just
Have you seen this like whole situation with him?
no. Like,
Essentially, he like went back to like Texas A&M, and he's just, like working out with them.
so he might not even play.
I don't. There's uncertainty with this rule. I'm pretty sure the rule is if you decide not to sign your rookie contract, you have to take the year off. Like he can't go back and play for Texas A&M this year, but he could like work out with them. Like he can go there. He would have to take a year off, and then he would re-enter the draft in the 2026 draft. But the Bengals would have the first opportunity to draft him, like because I'm pretty sure it's written that way because say he got drafted and he just didn't want to play for the Bengals, so he can't just take a year off, go back in and let another team pick him. I'm pretty sure the Bengals would get to choose if they still want him.
They're going to
I
keep
don't
him.
know. Yeah, I'm assuming they'll I don't know. He's not going to go
I
back
just
to the
assumed
draft.
he
I
was
don't
going to
believe.
play.
Yeah, I don't know. He won't sign his contract, and the Bengals are very stubborn. We've seen this. They just don't know like how to run a team, I guess. But he's like dead set. He's like, I'm not signing that.
Hmm.
But I would assume this gets resolved at some point. I don't know.
Yeah,
Have we ever? I don't
we're
think
going to
we've
get
ever
traded.
seen. I don't remember somebody ever just not playing and going back into the draft. I don't remember this happening.
No.
So I would assume.
Anyways, I didn't realize that the situation was that confrontational. But at the end of the day, I didn't really have much left to pick in the 12th round. So I wasn't really happy with the pick, anyways.
No, yeah. I mean, it's your last pick, whatever.
And it was defensive rookie of the year, and I was kind of like, well,
I
I
mean,
don't
if he
know, like,
did play theoretically, and they don't have Trey Hendrickson, and he has like a crazy season. I mean, it's not. It just doesn't look good right now because he won't sign his contract. But
yeah,
we still got a long way. We still got a month and a half.
yeah,
We still have like 7 weeks or whatever. So
yeah. The only other one I was thinking about is Lagway double up on Heisman, but I don't know. I didn't want to break my rule, so I just went with him.
yeah, no, I thought this was great. We're gonna be big Clemson fans this fall. I'll tell you that.
So it's interesting because the part I was analyzing afterwards is like, okay, well, what's the total payout? So like Travis is really high, but he
Yeah, that's
has
because he has long shots at Super Bowl.
yeah, and he has 6 bets. So like 5 of them don't even count because only one of them can win.
Correct.
But I thought it was really interesting some of the strategies. Like some people had really, really low.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it doesn't make any sense to play that. Like if that guy hit every single, if Scott Atkins hits every bet and gets that amount of money, he's gonna get lapped by one. If Travis hits one Super Bowl, he's done. He's out of the mix, and he could win every single bet. Like it doesn't make any sense
Yeah,
for me to take bets like that in this.
yeah, yeah,
Whoever hits
yeah,
the Super Bowl essentially is gonna have more than him if he got all of his 12 bets right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd
I
take my
agree.
chances on the future, the actual futures, and not the props.
But I felt pretty good about where we ended up just in terms of the overall amount. This guy, he had a
He's get some
ton
long
of
shots in there. Bears
ton of
Super Bowl,
flyers.
Cardinals Super Bowl, 50-1 Kyle Hamilton depoy. Achan most rush yards. That's interesting.
Oh, look at the time here.
Oh yeah, we're
Way over.
we're deep in this futures. You might have to get a Clemson sweatshirt or something, Steve, to start rocking up
I
there in
could
the
do that.
gallery.
One a guy that I consulted with, big Clemson guy, big Clemson guy. I'll get him to send it over.
There you go. Perfect.
Oh no, maybe he's Auburn. Maybe he's Auburn.
Oh.
Anyways, I'll get Clemson.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Long stream today. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. I'll have my stuff updated so we can run through that and talk, and we'll have more stuff going on. But thank you guys
Thanks
for tuning
everybody.
in. Good
Check
luck.
out
Good night.
SportWise. Check out data feeds.
Yeah, go use the
See you guys.
rankings, all that stuff, and see everybody tomorrow.
See you next week.